Here is my review and recap of Titans Season 3, Episode 9, which is entitled Souls. And this is another one of those episodes where we see how juvenile the writing is for this series. And this episode just basically revolves around three of the characters in the show who are now all dead. We have Donna, we have Hank, and we have Tim Drake. So we find out that Tim Drake did die after being shot. And we know Donna's been dead since the end of Season 2, and we know Hank blew up earlier in this season. And at the same time, we have Rachel working with the Themyscirians to try to revive Donna. And she kind of has some issues with the Themyscirians, and they don't see eye to eye. This episode... It's like some fan fiction. It's the goofiest thing. This takes place, 99% of this episode takes place in the afterlife. And you got Tim and Donna actually meet up together. They end up on a train together, actually, at the beginning. And Tim doesn't know what's going on. Donna knows she's dead. And Tim is kind of freaking out as to what's going on. And he tries to get off the train and jumps off the train, and Donna follows him. They're then quickly picked up by Hank, of all people. They're about to be taken over by some demons, and Hank drives by, picks them up, and they drive off. And it's like, how has he been surviving in this place this long? How has Donna been on that train? None of this makes any sense as to the timing and the way it's written. And it was really goofy in the episode because they could just envision weapons they had in their hands, and they would just appear. And we end up at the end of this episode, Hank decides not to go back with them. And this was the goofiest part, is that they're on a journey to get to this supposed bridge that'll bring the dead back to life. This seems like some fan fiction writing here. There's no thought put into anything that they have done with this season. I'm pretty disgusted with the overall storyline. Overall, this episode was entertaining, but at the end of the day, Hank stays back to fight these demons, and them fighting the demons, if they get caught by the demons, they're going to be dead for good. Some of that was pretty cool. The fights were good, but the whole bridge idea, weapons just showing up because they envision them, it was all just everything's too convenient and just very cheesy. And at the end of the episode, Hank stays back to save the other two, so Donna comes back to life and Tim comes back to life. And that's all we see in this episode. So it was just that Donna is going to be back. And she just ends up appearing in a forest first, and one of the Themyscirians comes to her and talks to her, and fearing who she might be coming back, that she may not be the same person she was when she died. And Donna lets her know that's exactly the opposite of what's happening here. I am the exact same person, and I need to get back to help everybody. And I found it kind of suspect that Hank wouldn't come back, especially with as much as he loved Dove, to leave her behind. None of that made any sense. It was too convenient. Now he's off doing a Reacher show. I think that's going to be on Amazon, Jack Reacher show, just called Reacher, and he's the main character. So I don't think he's coming back. But it was all just too convenient. It just plays out the way it does, and that's all this episode was. It was, like I said, these episodes seemed completely disconnected from the previous. This is a continuation of that, but we didn't see any of the other characters other than Rachel, the Themyscirians, and Donna, Hank, and Tim. That's it. That's all we saw in this episode. And it was entertaining, and it was pretty much a standalone. So we'll pick up in the next episode with the rest of the story and what's going to happen. And there's just a really cheesy part of that episode as well that I'll talk about. And it's just, I don't know, the writing is just really bad this season. But so there's my recap on Titans Season 3, Episode 9, which is entitled Souls. We'll see you guys on the next recap.